What's up guys, Siler here with One Legion TV, and we are back on the World of Warcraft Alpha for Legion, and this time we're going to be taking a look at Survival Hunter. This is going to be a brief preview of how the class is going to work, what's changed, and we'll take a look at the talents and stuff as well. So the main difference between live Survival Hunter and Legion is going to be you are now a melee class, or at least a melee spec. You're going to put down your gun, your bow, whatever, and you're going to pick up a spear instead. So you're still going to have a pet, and that's going to fight alongside you, and there's actually a couple of skills that interact with you and your pet. But for the most part, you're going to be kind of a melee-based class that uses... It's kind of like a reverse rage, you know, it's like an energy, and you're going to use some spells that will just use charges, and then you're going to use some spells that are going to burn focus as well. You have no combo points or anything like that, though, so it feels, to me, a little bit nicer. I'm not a whole fan of, like, energy and combo points. So first of all, we'll take a look at the skills. Aspect of the cheetah is 1 minute cooldown, and it's going to be kind of like your sprint. You know, you're going to gain 90% move speed for 3 seconds, and then an additional 30% for another 9 seconds. So you're going to get a big burst of speed, and then once that runs out, you're going to get a bit more consistent speed for a bit longer. So quite a nice movement cooldown. You're going to get 12 seconds of movement in total on a minute cooldown, so that's quite a lot of mobility. Aspect of the Eagle, 2 minute cooldown. This is going to be your DPS cooldown. Increases the critical strike chance of all skills for you and your pet by 10%, and increases your chance to gain charges of Mongoose Bite by 100% for 10 seconds. So you'll see what Mongoose Bite is a little bit later on, and you'll see why this is a pretty damn good cooldown. Then we got Aspect of the Turtle. You deflect all attacks, and you take, obviously it's going to be more than 0% less damage for 8 seconds, but you cannot attack. So it's kind of like a deterrence, but it's been swapped up a little bit for survival. It looks kind of cool. Kind of like this turtle form over here, and you're going to take less damage for a little bit. Then we got Call of Pet, same as always. You're going to be able to have 5 active pets. You know, you can swap between them. Carve is going to be your cleave. Sweep attack that strikes all enemies in front of you for 7k physical damage. So you're going to use that, it's going to kind of do a sweep. Disengage is the same as always, it's going to drop you back, 20-second cooldown. And I've got the talent that gives it movement speed increase as well. And it also gets you out of movement impairing effects. So say like, you know, you're fighting a mage, instead of getting away from them, which is what you'd normally do as a hunter, as survival, you're going to actually want to flip around and disengage towards them. It's going to get you out that Frost Nova, or slow, or whatever, and you're going to be closer to them with a bit of movement speed. So it's going to help you stick on your target. Eagle Eye is the same as always. You know, you'll click it somewhere and it'll show you that location. Same as it is in live. Exhilaration, this is now baseline, it isn't a talent or anything. And it'll heal you for 30% and your pet for 100% on a 2 minute cooldown. Feign Death, same as always, 30-second cooldown, and basically gets you out of combat. Flanking Strike, so this is going to be one of your main cooldowns. You want to use this off cooldown, and it costs 50 focus, so it's quite a big hefty spell. You and your pet attack the target simultaneously, dealing 19k physical damage and your pet 11k. If the target is attacking you, your pet's attacks will deal 50% increased damage and threat. If not, your attack will deal 50% increased damage. Flanking Strike has a double the normal chance to trigger Hunting Companion. So you basically want to use this off cooldown, and you want to try and have your pet have aggro if you're doing PvE stuff at least. If not, then I don't actually know what damage it does, because it only says if, like, it doesn't say what happens if they're not attacking your pet. Or actually, if not, yeah, I guess if they've got aggro on a tank or whatever, it will... if your target is attacking you, yeah, so if they're attacking you, the pet will deal more damage, but if they're not attacking you, even if they're attacking a tank, you'll do 50% more damage, so... yeah, it's pretty nice. I guess it just basically means the pet, the mob needs to have its back to you, in a sense. Flare, same as always, pop that down. Harpoon is going to be your kind of a reverse death grip. You're going to target someone, you're going to click it, and it's going to lunge you towards them, and also root them in place as well. So it's going to be quite nice in PvP. 15-second cooldown, 40-yard range, so it's pretty good range. Good grip from this distance. So it's quite a big distance. Actually, we can go all the way to there. So it's pretty big. Hatchet Toss, this is kind of very, very weak, but it does some range damage. So say you just you're being kited or whatever, you still want to stay in combat, you still want to do some damage, Hatchet Toss would be your way to go. Laceration, this is kind of a bleed, you want to keep this up 100% of the time. Tear a wound in the target, dealing 54k damage over 12 seconds, so there's no reason that shouldn't be up 100% of the time. Mongoose Bite, this is kind of your filler spell, you're going to have 2 filler spells. This one doesn't cost any focus, a brutal attack attempting to severe and the enemy's limbs, dealing 28k physical damage. Each consecutive Mongoose Bite dealt within 3.5 seconds, at the last will deal 50% increased damage, stacking up to 6 times. Muzzle is going to be your interrupt, so melee range, and it's going to lock them out for 3 seconds. Pet utility, this is all your pet spells just condensed into one section. Raptor Strike, 25 focus, this is going to be your filler spell if you've not got Flanking Strike up and you've also got Lacerate on the target and you don't want to focus cap yourself. So that would be what you throw down there. Sentry Turret's a talent, Snake Hunter is a talent, Sticky Bomb is a talent, so we'll ignore those for now. And traps, this would normally be Freezing Trap, basically just locks them in a freeze. But instead we've got Steel Trap, which we'll go through in a minute. Explosive Trap, same as always, you drop it down, it's going to do a little bit of AoE damage. And Tar Trap is basically your Frost Trap, it's going to put some frost on the ground, they'll walk over it, they'll be slowed. Wing Clip is also your kind of snare. You're going to put that on someone when you're in melee range, slow them by 50% for 15 seconds. That should be up 100% of the time in PvP. So we'll take a quick look at the talents. Now, talents are a little bit different. In like Warlord's Draenor, they're more, this tier is for CC, this tier is major cooldowns. It's kind of like that still now, but they're a little bit more spread out in some trees, so it's a little bit more exciting in a sense. One tree isn't just strictly AoE, one might have a single target spell or an AoE spell, you've got a bit more variety. So for level 15, Animal Instincts, when you attack with Flanking Strike, you gain the instincts of your pet, providing you with a random combat enhancement. So that would just be like Multi-Strike or, well, Must-Strike's gone, or Mastery or Crit or something. Improved Traps reduce the cooldown of all traps by 15 seconds. Doesn't seem that great. They're on a minute cooldown, so it isn't going to do that much. Way of the Mok Nethal, attacking with Raptor Strike grants you a stack of Mok Nethal tactics, increasing your attack power by 5% for 8 seconds, stacking to 5 times. So that seemed the way to go for me. 25% attack power seems pretty damn good. Level 30, we got Post Haste, gives you a disengage, gets you out of movement impairing effects, and increases move speed. Fast Rider, disengage now has 2 charges, and Dash, the aspect of Cheater is now increased by 3 seconds. Level 45, we've got Caltrops, it's going to make your Tar Trap do some damage, and also slow. Steel Trap is going to make your Freezing Trap do a 47k bleed. So that seemed pretty good to me. I can throw that down as I'm running into a mob, get a 47k bleed on them, and they'll also be rooted or whatever so I can get into them. And yeah, it just seemed the way to go. And then Ranger's Net, hurl a net at your enemy, reduces move speed by 50% for 15 seconds. So that's a 40 yard range. That's going to be good for probably PvP. It's going to change your wing clip to be ranged, means you can not be kited as easily basically. Level 60, Sticky Bomb, 30-second cooldown, and you'll throw this at them, it'll deal a little bit of damage, but it also hits nearby enemies and it knocks them down, so it's going to be a little bit of CC, it's quite nice. Camouflage, it seems to be a full stealth now, it still has the same visual as it did previously, but it seems to be an actual, like, you can stealth, Throwing axes, I'm not really sure where this would be used, but toss 3 axes at your enemy target, dealing 2.8k physical damage for each axe. Not that much damage. It doesn't really seem worth a talent and 30 focus. If it was, maybe didn't cost any focus, maybe, but it just doesn't seem that worth, because if you're in a position where you need to do range damage for that long, you'd just be a range spec, like, I don't know. Maybe people who are, they want to stay survival no matter what. It might be the talent to go for those kind of range encounters, but for the most part, Thrill of the Hunt, this isn't worded properly right now, so we're not entirely sure what it's going to do. I haven't played around with it too much. But obviously it reads, Thrill of the Hunt reduces the focus cost of your next 3 arcane shots, aim shots, or multi-shots. We don't have any of those. Dragonfire Trap is going to replace your Explosive Trap. It's going to do 7k fire damage over 8 seconds and sending enemies into a state of panic. So it's a bit of CC. We got Sneak Hunter instantly grants you 3 charges of Mongoose Bite, so that seems pretty damn good. You heard what Mongoose Bite did earlier, so being able to get an extra 3 stacks is great, basically. Butchery Lacerate will now spread to all targets hit by Carve, so you'd put Lacerate on someone, and then you'd hit Carve, and Carve will spread that Lacerate, basically. Mortal Wounds, so that'd be good for like AoE fights, or maybe Cleave. Mortal Wounds, your Lacerate periodic damage deals damage, there's a chance you will gain a charge of Mongoose Bite. And then Serpent Sting, targets hit by your Raptor Strike and Carve are also afflicted by Serpent Sting, dealing 21k nature damage over 15 seconds. So that might be better on fights where it's like 2 to 3 targets. You can kind of Lacerate and Serpent Sting them up, and then focus on your main target. You know, it's not going to be enough targets that you want to use Carve, but you can get a bit more kind of cleave damage off by dotting them up. At level 100, we've got Sentry Turret. Doesn't really do any damage right now, it does like 200, but it drops a cool little looking Sentry Turret. It's going to blast foes for like 200 damage, so hopefully that'll be a decent talent at some point. Expert Trapper is going to enhance all of your traps, so, you know, not too bad, especially if you're going more of a trap-oriented build. And then Aspect of the Beast. I'm not really sure how this is going to work right now because Kill Command isn't for survival. I haven't tested to see if this works with Flanking Strike. It might, but right now it doesn't seem to do anything as far as I could tell. But it will enhance your Kill Command on your pet, making your Ferocity pet do more damage, your Tenacity pet add a bit of utility, and your Cunning pet do more utility as well. So with that out of the way, we're going to take a look at how the kind of rotation would work. So because I'm rocking Steel Trap, I'd throw that in, and then I'd probably harpoon towards them. That'd get me in combat with them, or get me to them. And then I'd open with a Flanking Strike because it's something I want to use first. It does a big chunk of damage. And then I'd get a Lacerate on them. And then I'd do a Mongoose Bite. And then I'd probably do a Raptor Strike to stop me getting an energy capped, focus capped. And then I'd do another Mongoose Bite, Raptor Strike, Mongoose Bite, and you'd repeat along those lines using Flanking Strike off cooldown and keeping Lacerate on the target. You want to make sure you always have, you know, around 50 focus, just so that when Flanking Strike is up, you can instantly use it. And there's no rush to use Mongoose Bite as long as you don't stay charge capped, because you can have 3 charges. So just keep Mongoose Bite on like 1 to 2 charges, and use Raptor Strike in between just so you can get charges back, and so you're not, you know, focus capping yourself basically. So we'll take a look at what the combat would look like. So we'd jump in, we'd do that, we'd Lacerate, we'd Mongoose Bite, and we'd do that, and boom, they're dead. So let's take a look at how much damage things were doing. Alright, so Steel Trap did 500 damage, Flanking Strike did 20k, that was a crit though. Melee Attack 4k, Steel Trap 4k, Lacerate 2k, Steel Trap 4k, Mongoose Bite 14k, Lacerate 2k, Melee 9k, Lacerate Raptor Strike 6k, so you can see Raptor Strike doesn't hit that hard, it's more of like your weaker filler. Steel Trap 4k, Lacerate 2k, Mongoose Bite 21k, Laceration 2k, Steel Trap, so you can still see those Steel Traps and Lacerates coming in for quite a lot of damage. And then Flanking Strike once again, another 10k comes in. And yeah. And you see how quickly that mob died. Now I'm the same level as the mob with the artifact weapon. But overall it, you know, 686 eye level, so the damage isn't that bad. This mob has 430k HP, and it died within a few seconds, so definitely not that bad overall. It may even be worth using the Mongoose Bite a little bit earlier. Not 100% sure, but you definitely don't want to have max stacks, and you want to make sure you're using it at least every 3 seconds, so you're getting the stacking debuff. Because at 6 stacks, it's going to be doing, what, an extra 300% damage? So you definitely want to make sure that's happening, but also making sure that you've got charges so that you can keep the buff up. So yeah, you may even also open with, like, Flanking Strike, Lacerate, and then just spam Mongoose Bite, and then refresh it with the Snake Hunter, just so you can get the stacks like high instantly, if it's a mob that's going to live for a while. But overall, survival's it feels fun. It doesn't feel like it's got much downtime, like you're not waiting around for spells. The focus regenerates fast enough that it's okay, and you feel like you've always got something to be doing or something to be pressing. So overall, I think it's great. It feels funnish to play, and I think people who have been excited for this won't be too disappointed. There's a little bit of complexity to the rotation. It isn't completely, straightforward. There's things you got to keep an eye on, things that you got to keep up, and priority in your spells. So yeah, that is a look at Survival Hunter. Now remember, this is alpha. Things can and will change, but I just wanted to throw an early look out there for the people who are excited to see Survival Hunter. So thanks for watching, guys. Look out for more videos coming soon. See ya. As a side note for anyone who's still watching at this point, you're probably watching this on my channel, youtube.com/SciGamer. If you are, keep in mind that a lot of stuff that I make on Legion will also be going onto the One Legion TV YouTube channel. It's a World of Warcraft fan site I've been working on over the past couple of months, with written articles and video guides and stuff like that on there as well. So if you want to see a bit more, like the artifact storyline, stuff like that, and definitely check out that channel, because there's going to be a good mix of Legion content between my channel and that channel. On One Legion TV, it won't just be me posting as well, so you can see World of Warcraft content from other personalities. So thanks for watching, and I hope you do check out that channel. See ya!